welcome to Inner Peace Arts Unscripted. I'm your host, James Coleman. I'm an inner peace artist, which means I work at the intersection between personal development, spirituality, and social change. And of course, if you find yourself at this presentation, you're open to the truth as it can be known, finding new ways, ideas, and actions to making for a better way of life. Today I'm going to talk about AstroShamanism, which is a practice that I invented. It's a branch of inner peace arts. I've shared it publicly in a number of places now, and it's a powerful practice. And you know, that term Astro Shaman, it sounds cool, it sounds radical. It is, but it's not as from the classic kind of Christian perspective that I come out of. It's not as radical as it seems, but nonetheless, you know, it's another one of those things that I'm sharing because I think there's a kind of honesty that's necessary for doing, well, for relating to people and having them know who you are and what they're involved with and involving themselves with you, right? That's true with anybody, right? So it's not just a special case here. But Astro-Shamanism, and basically what it is it's looking at ideas and beliefs as constellations, and constellations of concepts. It's looking at them as networks of concepts. And just as we look at the stars and make patterns with them, we look at beliefs and make patterns with them. So what's going to happen, what happens here in Astro Shamanism is I'm going to start putting together groups of patterns, not unlike how astrology actually works. It's not astrology, so there's no prediction based upon something that's, you know, the stars say this. Well, in actuality, the stars do say this, but the stars, all that the stars are saying is following through from a little too high, from a logical perspective. Sorry, I had to move. That position was no longer tenable. What was I saying? Oh, what I was saying is that, the stars, right? So the star patterns, stars going to be collected together and form patterns. And the patterns are going to make predictions, but the predictions are going to follow from a logic perspective and less from a kind of mystical perspective. So we can see if somebody is negative, right, we can generally say that the perspective, the things that happen to them are going to be more and more negative. There's nothing mysterious about that. But what happens is when you start to look at, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 70 beliefs, all of a sudden you have a huge network that allows for emergence of other things to happen. And so what Astro Shamanism is, it looks at those beliefs and their interactions with your agenda and all that to come up with a plan of where you are actually going. So it's not personality, right? Because it's about the beliefs and the implicit nature of that belief, right? If you look at a tree grows in a certain way that trees grow, right? If it stops growing like a tree, it's not a tree anymore. It's something else. It's a bush. It's a, you know, a sprout. I don't know. I'm not a plantologist, but nonetheless, that's the idea. And the whole practice, I'm going to move this again. This is unusual for inner peace arts, but we don't care. We're into change and managing things differently as needed. Let me try this. See if this works a little better. Yeah, okay. This is good. This is good. All right, I can do this. All right. So move back a little bit more. Okay, here we go. So the idea is for AstroShamanism. First, the name. The name came about. I was working with a group, and it's actually called the Brooklyn Paranormal Society. So, and they contacted me because because they found out about the AstroShamanism, and they contacted me to come speak at their group. And he was trying to come up with a name for what I do. And so he came up with this name, AstroShamanism. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. And it's stuck. And so basically, looking at the patterns of belief. So it's not about personality. You can say that personality can be derived from these beliefs. But, we do things all the time that are appropriate in one context, that are not appropriate in another context, and that are contradictory because the contexts are different. So, not getting into personality. It's more on the behaviorist side of things in terms of looking at beliefs as behaviors. Now, that's a very interesting concept in itself, but I'm not going to go there too much either. Basically, the term shaman, right? That scares a lot of people. But basically, I say it's the person who sits outside of culture, that culture thinks is a little odd. But then when something really bad happens, they go to him or her and say, listen, dude, something's not right. We need some help fixing it, right? So I definitely see our culture moving in a bad direction as a whole, right? I'm not talking about individual practices per se. I'm not judging individual practices. What I'm judging is the collective of how things work. So we have, millions of people that are banned from access to certain kinds of resources. We have few people who are benefiting from the work of millions who are, or close to billions, who are suffering, right? So, and suffering in a sense that they wouldn't want to, live a day as that person at all, and wouldn't want anyone that they know to live that way, right? And of course, this is a very difficult philosophical topic, the whole notion of distributive justice. But nonetheless, there is this idea and sense of fairness that we all have, and that I think gets suppressed and altered as we get older and realize how resources work and how people are symbolic and symbols can be used to control people. Anyway, we're going to move off of that too. And we're going to say that the shaman is the guy that people come to when the crisis happens and they want. And the astro is basically taking these astrological concepts, right, which have been around for a long time. So I'm not discounting the value that's in the ideas, right? I'm definitely discounting the whole time you're born and all that kind of stuff. That's not part of AstroShamanism. It's just taking the ideas and putting them in a format whereby I can see how the ideas move to create the situations that I'm in, that I respond to, and how I respond to them. And so that's what it is. So we can expect, I'm going to probably put all this stuff on a separate site, but I wanted to share it here because it's based in inner peace arts. So it's the same basic concepts. It's just a different label with a different perspective to help other people come into the understanding of what inner peace arts can do. There are a lot of people who are, they're into that sort of thing, and that's okay. It's cool, and I'm out there providing some ways in. So so that's a little bit about AstroShamanism. It's not as out there as I think it would seem, but I think that it is out there in the sense of what is available for people to look at their lives and make better decisions and see them for see them closer to what it is, right? And I'm going to say this because I shared this before. Listen, inner peace arts and Astro-Shamanism, it's not straight up Buddhism, it's not straight up Christianity, it's not straight up Jainism, it's not Hindu, it's not Islam, it's none of those things, right? It's really a kind of an overlay framework that you can then, if you want to take other concepts, other beliefs and stick them in, feel free. For me, I have no need to do that. I'm providing like a core kernel. If you have any programming background, it's like, here's a kernel that works, and use it to make for a better way of life. And so that's what I do, and I'm very excited about sharing it and making it more accessible to people. And that's what this season 2, which I keep saying, I don't know why, but it's just, there's something different about now. And not that the old stuff is not good, it's actually, the old stuff is really important as a foundation. That's why it's season 2 and not season 1. Anyway, that's it, and have a great day. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom. In distinction, thank